The dark secrets of marriage you're not supposed to know. Hello everybody, and welcome to One Mail. In this video, I will share with you some dark secrets of marriage that you're not supposed to know. Many people think that everything is perfect and rosy once you get married, but that's not always the case. There are a lot of things about marriage that are hidden from the public eye. So if you're curious about what they are, stick around and I'll reveal them all to you. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. Growing up, I remember seeing happily married couples who appeared to have everything together in their lives in public. They were always smiling and taking family photos. Their kids got everything they needed, and they had enough money to appear wealthy and comfortable. Overall, everything seemed to be a life everyone should strive for in their lives. As a 7-year-old, this was how I envisioned marriage, and I desired it. I wanted it so much that I started thinking about marriage at a young age. I had no idea what marriage was, but seeing how their lives compared to mine at the time led me to believe that marriage would be the most excellent road to follow. However, if I wanted to be happy and stable, I should have known that it was all a ruse and that those couples would split within 10 years. Marriage is intended to last a lifetime. Therefore, I was perplexed when the individuals I planned to model my life after failing in their marriage. It's like those romantic comedies and bad coms you see on TV. People use those as the bar for what a genuine relationship should be without delving further to discover the truth. A song, a movie, or a television series have one thing in common. They were scripted and created to fit a specific story. So, patterning your entire relationship after something false, in my opinion, makes no sense. I gradually persuaded myself that I was confident. I wanted a good marriage that would last a lifetime, so I got a girlfriend when I was 18 years old, which is why I'm here on YouTube delivering my message. My 2-year romance began well, as all relationships do, and I imagined spending the rest of my life with this woman. Unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. I was hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out fooled. I wanted answers and perhaps counseling after all the L's I took during my time with my ex. By the end of that relationship, this girl had dragged me along for 2 years without providing me with her lovely sticky nectar. I didn't even manage to push in the tip since it was so awful, so I wanted answers, and where better to seek them than YouTube? Like many of you, I discovered the Crimson Capsule. The rest is history. After discovering the RP and learning why she punished me in a sexless relationship, I began to reconsider my decision to marry, and she used me for her attention. Before that relationship, all I wanted was a faithful girl who wouldn't cheat on me, treat me with respect, and offer me bedroom fun whenever I liked it. You can see how basic that is, but many of our brothers today are capable of fulfilling one of those demands. So I dug deep into marriage and assessed the advantages, drawbacks, and risks, and what I discovered terrified the living marriage-mindedness. It was so dark that I decided I would never marry or even consider it, and today I'm going to disclose the dark side of marriage that you probably never knew or thought about. So let's get started and dissect what marriage is all about. To comprehend marriage, we must first examine its purpose and the concept's origins. If you were religious, you would know God decreed marriage for individuals to live a monogamous lifestyle that would allow them to achieve the joy they wanted in the bedroom and produce decent children. That is a simplified version of it, and if you look at it at face value, it would make perfect sense if you had one individual who could satisfy your primitive urge for pleasure and procreation while also providing you with a family structure. In addition, it would lead you to live a moral life and make better judgments about your finances, health, education, etc. Marriage, when done correctly, is more advantageous to both people involved from a religious and worldly aspect. Now that marriage is technically on life support, I'd like you to examine society thoroughly to see if individuals haven't lost their way. We have more violence, STDs, poverty, broken houses, children with no direction, no morality, free spirit culture, greater animosity towards our neighbors, and so on. Marriage with the influence of religion benefits people's personal life and society, but why has it failed? Let's have a look at why. It was pushed so hard in the first place that you'll see it was all about money and control, and I'm sure the kings and royals needed a way to keep people in check while keeping a healthy society in the distant past. So they decided to allow men and women to couple up, giving males who couldn't find a lady a better opportunity at a relationship and keeping them from being a menace to society. They also motivated the church, or whatever religion it was, to persuade and keep people married by enticing them with the prospect of wealth. If you didn't know, a church or other religious organization is run and maintained entirely by donations. If you don't believe me, consider how a church supports the lights and allows the pastor to preach weekly. Consider it in terms of gifts, or what is more commonly known as an offering. If a church wishes to survive, it must continually increase its membership for people to continue donating to it. What better method to ensure constant new members than to have individuals marry and have children? It is pretty likely that if a religious couple marries and has children, their children will grow up in the church, and when they reach the age where they can earn and donate to the church will continue to make more money. Do you realize where I'm heading with this? The church cannot promise without families. The addition of new members will be their cash cow. When you look at modern churches today, you will notice that most of them are struggling. With religion essentially dead in the United States, it is reasonable to predict that the situation will only worsen over time. So, in the past, marriage and family were pushed so heavily. It was about managing the people to construct a functioning society and keep the churches and the system funded. Now that you understand the origins of marriage, particularly monogamous marriages, I want you to consider something. Look at the world's elite and religious people anytime a controversy breaks. It is typically revealed that they practice everything except monogamy. Consider what you've heard about the priests and nuns. Look at what the ultra-rich have done and tell me if they have monogamous marriages. I can't go into detail due to YouTube, but I hope you get the idea. You now understand why marriage is necessary and why it has been actively promoted in society. Let's take a look at what went wrong. The decline of marriage in modern times began when people, particularly women, were encouraged to divorce. Previously, most couples stayed together because women required male support to care for themselves and their children. So it was a wrap when the government gave the woman more power with no fault, divorces, child support, custody in favor of the woman, and spousal support. This was the ambition of the womanist movement, and the government recognized that giving women authority would lead to anarchy and disaster. While feeding the government's pockets with the hard-working man's money, you should be aware that when you give women too much power, they frequently misuse it, which is why the family court system is now worth billions of dollars. This was all made possible by unhappy mothers filing for divorce and isolating their children from their fathers for excellent and selfish reasons. Marriage as we know it is gone, with no signs of ever returning to its former glory. The real victims of this system are the children and the honorable spouses who marry the wrong woman. Fathers have been separated from their children, financially abused, and left to pick up the pieces of their life and perhaps rebuild them. Unfortunately, women who divorce their husbands rarely have a substantially better life following the divorce. They believe they will have one after the divorce, but only when they are elderly and must retire. Because the sad reality is that if that woman cannot remarry and save enough money for retirement or have her children care for them, it has been a tragedy for the last 30 years of their lives. This is the conclusion I've made after studying how women function. Most women did not want to be controlled and influenced by a man or husband. It was done in the first place owing to societal pressures and because they wanted someone to support them. Marriage is viewed as modern-day slavery now that they have gained their liberty. They do not want to be married or be under the influence and control of a guy, and the more authority they have, the clearer this becomes. As a result, fewer marriages, fewer births, more divorces, and a surge in hookup culture. That is the reality with which you must contend, now that we've got everything nice and tidy. Let's look at the negative aspects of modern marriages. Most guys who marry will follow some predictable phases that may be found in Coach Greg Adams' marriage wheel. The first stage is the connection period, during which you are in the honeymoon phase and everyone is on their best behavior. Everything is going well for the most part, and bedroom pleasure is frequent, so you decide to organize an engagement, a wedding, and get married. The following stage is the investment phase, in which the couple decides whether or not to have children. This is followed by purchasing a home, automobiles, and spending money on family, trips, school, activities, hospital bills, etc. Finally, the bait and switch is the following stage, consisting of a bait and switch in which the husband works long hours. The woman gets dissatisfied and begins to have affairs, marriage, therapy, less bedroom fun, and no more beige. The following is the disengagement phase, where the divorce occurs. Women will bring males to family court for child support, counseling, alimony, and losing the house, children, and possessions. The male will either re-enter the marriage cycle or go his way if he remarries and re-enters the marriage wheel. He will almost certainly divorce again, double the alimony and child support. That is the reality that most guys who choose to marry will face. When we look closely at marriage today, we must ask what benefit it is for a man to be in a marriage. Today, there is no help, which is why this RP place exists. Because guys are failing in marriages and relationships and want answers, let me show you more of the negative aspects of the wedding that you will encounter if you choose to roll the dice. When you get married, the most common problems are emotional, financial, and physical abuse. Expect to be regularly subjected to one or more of these sorts of abuse. If she nags, humiliates, emasculates, instigates conflicts, gaslights, gossips about you in public, continually tests you, and so on, you are being abused emotionally. Physical abuse is self-evident. If you look at the Amber Heard trial, you'll notice that almost all of these elements were present in their marriage, and look at what he had to go through. Financial abuse is severe because your wife will believe she is entitled to spend all your money, even if she earns her own. You will be financially abused if you have a wife who cannot stop spending your money and believes that her money is her money and not the family's money. The second option is a sexless marriage. This happens to many males at weddings and is more prevalent than you realize. A dry bedroom is one in which the pair has had no relations or has only had intermittent bedroom pleasure. This happens to many males and married men for a year or longer. If you are married and the spicy nights and mornings turn from once a week to once a month to once a year, then you are in a lifeless bedroom. If she offers an excuse not to enjoy bedroom pleasure with you, make it a duty to initiate or maintain your bedroom health. You're toast. Loneliness is ranked third. Many married men are lonely in their relationships. Your wife will often put you at the bottom of her priority list, below the kids and even the pets. This is the truth of most relationships, where the wife and children neglect the husband. These husbands are considered nothing more than a source of income, which causes many men to feel lonely. Most women do not appreciate what their husbands do for them and will never enjoy what their husbands do in that marriage. "What have you done for me lately?" is a woman's slogan. No matter what you do as a guy, it will never be enough. When was the last time you heard a lady express true satisfaction with what you do for her as a man? Guys, this happens to some level in all marriages and relationships, since women cannot fulfill. You can't make her happy no matter what. No matter what you do, you're either insufficient or deadbeat. In the eyes of the public, whether you are married or divorced, you are a slacker. You can never be a fantastic parent without being mocked or condemned. If you can't give for whatever reason, you're a deadbeat. So, no matter what you do as a male, you can't win, and guess what? Nobody cares. Anyways, if you want to know more about feminists and how they are begging for marriage right now, then make sure to watch my recent video about it. Some people might say it's a sign of desperation, but I think something else is going on. Make sure to check it out.